So the banks are getting hacked. Headline, world's biggest bank forced to trade via USB stick after hack. Behind ICBC Hack is a gang for hire that holds systems hostage. And oh my God. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Chris, and I want to read through this. It is crazy because I actually know this bank, ICBC. I've had a couple accounts here in the past as a Chinese bank, and I didn't realize it was like the largest bank. It's crazy. Let's just read through it together. So Lockbit, a criminal gang with ties to Russia. It's always Russia. Or North Korea. They got hackers there too. Sometimes China. We'll say those three are the, I guess, masterminds of hacking. Yeah, they're in Russia, evidently. Lockbit. Specializing in using malicious software known as ransomware to encrypt files on victims' computers, then demanding payment to unlock the files. So evidently they attacked Ion. There was like derivatives trading, something like that. I don't remember the Ion thing. If you guys remember that, I just don't remember it. However, I do know ICBC, and this is just happening like now. Moreover, like I was reading through that they had to shut systems down, and then in order to conduct trades, they would give someone a USB stick. This is they, meaning the bank, and then they would send that via messenger, like a person like physically taking that. And it's kind of funny because you know, I remember there was a time when we were all going paperless, and we're like, hey, never have paper again. So there is some sort of advantage to having paper. However, you know, that's completely unorganized. I'm sure you guys know. I mean, it's just like so much paper filing around the office, especially of all the trades and transactions that a bank would do in a day. I mean, it's just, there's certainly advantages to digital. However, in the world that we live in, you're open up to hackers. And I just want to say over and over again, if you're a young person right now and you want to get into a secure job industry, cybersecurity, I think, is going to be a good industry to be in for years. And I think that's for years, especially when you read this kind of stuff. Moreover, let's read through this. This is saying, so that, yeah, they hit the Ion Trading Group in UK's Royal Mail. I actually do remember this. And if anyone's in the UK, I'd be curious your thoughts. Like, did anything crazy happen with your mail? I don't know if they were just like rerouting stuff or stealing people's addresses. Who knows? And I guess Boeing was hit with an attack. And I don't remember that one, to be honest. Moreover, it says... the prolific gang Lockbit is suspected to have orchestrated a ransomware attack against the U.S. unit of ICBC, and it's saying here the attack has resulted in disruption across the U.S. Treasury market, with some transactions failing to clear and traders being asked to reroute their deals. So you know, when I read this, and this is sort of why I'm making this video, is reminds me of just really good advice, and I want to give it to you, is don't put all your eggs in one basket. In this particular situation, have more than one bank account. Don't put all your money in one institution, because you just never know. You just never know. Like, you would assume that ICBC has really good, you know, cybersecurity / protections, but evidently not. You know, and for those of you who are more into the hacking stuff, please, you know, share any info on Lockbit if you got any. I am not privy to like how easy it is to get into the stuff. I will say it was the casino hacks in Vegas. And if you guys don't know, basically the way that they worked is the hackers would use LinkedIn to find like employees' profiles, and then pose as employees, call them the help desk and say, hey, you know, I'm so-and-so in reservations and I can't access my account. Can you help me, you know, reset it? And they're like, hey, what's your name and address? And they like have it, or, you know, you get my point. But they use LinkedIn to get, you know, information. And I guess that was called, I want to say it was like phone phishing is how they call it. It was like, I want to say it was vishing, but you can remember that. But anyway, point being though, there's multiple ways to hack into a system. And also too, with work from home, this is just very real. You know, a lot of people have their computer all set up at home. And so like, why can't the hackers be at home and like access everything that you access? So keep an eye on that stuff. And again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. There's another situation, and I'm just talking about our banks in this video. This is happened a couple of days ago. I saw it. I just didn't mention it, but I want to mention it now because I think it definitely is important, and you should know about this. So evidently, there were delays in deposits this past week. It was something like if you got a direct deposit this past Friday and you were banking at like a Wells Fargo or a Bank of America or like a Chase, like one of the really big banks, there was some sort of funky problem with the ACH, that's our clearinghouse system. And I'm sure you guys know about this stuff. It is slow. It's not that fast. And there's been problems with it for years. And so it's funny because I'm not an advocate of crypto by any stretch, but I do get it. I do get that our banking system has problems, and I do say I do understand that when people say, hey, I like crypto because I don't trust our banks, I get that. I totally get it. I will say too, it's funny. I was looking at social media, and people were kind of like making fun of the banks, etc. And I guess people were getting these messages, and this was the message that some people got. It says some deposits may be temporarily delayed. Some deposits from 11/3, so that was November 3rd, may be temporarily delayed due to an issue impacting multiple financial institutions, which doesn't make me feel any better. Actually, it doesn't make me feel better at all. Your accounts remain secure, and your balance will be updated as soon as the deposit is received. You do not need to take any action. I wouldn't want to get that message. Like you know how it is when you're dealing with your money, and you can't access it. I literally check my accounts all the time, and like if I log in and like, hey, what's going on? I don't know what that charge is. I call the bank right away, and it's happened to me a couple times in my life to where like I didn't know what something was. And I'll give you an example. There was one, it was weird. It was like I didn't make donations to some weird church, and it was like something showed up and it was like a church in LA, and I'm like, what? I don't remember that. and I called the bank. I'm like, I don't know what that is, and they actually removed it. And there's another time when it was on a credit card where I had purchased shoes that I don't remember purchasing, right? And I called them up, and they sent me actually the receipt, and it showed the signature. And this is a true story. It said Sandy Pebbles is the signature. So I don't know, how they got my number or whatever, but that was a long time ago. So back then you could use the old paper swipe machines, if you guys remember what those things are, and we were able to get receipts on that. So these days in the world of digital, it's very, very different. There's not necessarily a paper trail per se, but you can see where the money goes. And so even though I'm railing against the banks right now in this particular video, I will say there are protections in place to where, like, if there's some deposit error, they can fix it, but I don't want any of this stuff to be a problem in the first place. So even though I'm not advocating crypto, I am saying banks do have a problem. However, with that said, there are good banks out there. There are good brokerages out there as well. And regardless of which ones that you choose, I would say have multiple ones, because you just don't know in this day and age. And why do I say that? I'm reading this headline here. You can read it here. It says, banks are suddenly closing down customer accounts. And evidently, this is like a story just a couple days ago as well. It's like all this stuff is happening at the same time. They got hacks, you got delayed deposits, and you got banks which are closing down people's accounts. So this is something that I like to mention to the community, because if you've had any sort of funky problems with your bank, please share in the comments. I'll just share with you. So when I first went abroad, and this was, I don't know, 15 years ago already, and I write about it in my book, which you should pick up. It's called Positive Angle. But if you've never traveled abroad before, like, always tell your bank that you're going abroad. If you don't, and you start doing like funky charges, like, hey, why are you buying noodles in Shanghai? Or, why are you buying shoes in Tokyo or whatever? Or we'll use Europe. Why are you buying shoes in Paris? Like, the bank sometimes will just turn off your account for no reason. You're like, what is going on? I need that money. I'm on vacation, and you're screwing with me. And that happens. And so that's one thing that the banks, like I was mentioning, like the positives, they protect you. But in this situation, when the closing down of accounts, they're kind of overprotecting people. And the phrase that they're calling it, they're calling it an SAR, or a suspicious activity report. Now, according to, this is coming from Thomson Reuters. This was in an article in the New York Times, but it's they're saying that in 2022, there were 1.8 million SARs, which is a 50% increase in just 2 years, meaning that the amount of these sort of suspicious activity reports are going up, and that evidently people were reporting that their banks are being closed down for any number of reasons. Usually, and I was reading through this thing, usually like what it is like if you have like, they call it suspicious, right? Suspicious cash transactions. And so I'll give you a couple garden variety things. Let's say you work at a restaurant and you get a bunch of cash tips, and like, some weeks you deposit $100, another week maybe you deposit $1,000 if you're a bartender or whatever, right? And for some people, and like you guys, food's expensive these days, and tips are actually quite a lot, right? Like these days, like 10-20% tips is not out of the question. Even like 35%, who knows, right? But if you work at a bar, you could get tons of tips. So if you're like depositing cash in like weird intervals, the bank flags that. Or here's another one, and this happens Happens to happen to me because I pay cash for cars. Like you, you know, need to basically wire transfer someone a bunch of money because you're just buying a car for cash, or even you receive a cash because you sell the car. These kind of things. The bank, if it's over 10 grand, they'll be like, "Yo, what's going on? Are you like doing shady stuff?" Like even though I was defending the banks in terms of like, you know, protections, in the USA, they are a bit over aggressive in sort of like when they freeze your accounts, especially for these kind of things. Because it is true, I don't sell car all day, every day, but when you do, and you got a bunch of cash like flowing, you know, in or out, if you're buying or selling, the bank actually does care about that kind of stuff. Usually the limit is over $10,000. They care. Then you have to like, you know, fill out paperwork, etc. Especially for international wire transfers. And again, it's funny. It sounds like I'm doing a commercial for crypto, right? But I'm totally not. I don't like this stuff. But to be fair, if you were in Bitcoin, I was just looking at the chart here. You've doubled your money if you bought it at the bottom back in January. So congrats to you. You know, will it keep going longer? Who knows? I personally am not into this stuff. I'll repeat over again. I'm not into this stuff, but I understand the arguments for it. Evidently this week, next couple of weeks, there's a bunch of different like Bitcoin ETFs are going to may or may not get approved by the SEC. So they're saying between November 9th and November 17th, there are 12 Bitcoin ETFs that are like, I guess, under review. And so putting all this stuff together, right? I know we're talking about multiple things at the same time. We talked about the hack. We talked about delayed deposits. We talked about the banks like just closing down accounts, and it's, I guess, happening more frequently than before. And then we're talking about, you know, crypto, etc. In all of these situations, just put your money in multiple places. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's kind of the main message I want to share with you. Moreover, here's a really big one. If you are unhappy with your current institution, just go to another institution. There's nothing holding you there. There's nothing forcing you to you know, stay at that one. There's so many choices out there these days that you can, again, put your money in multiple places. Just not all in one place is I just don't do it, you know, and that's, I think that's a sound advice. Moreover, this is another really important one. So many channels out there, you know, only advocate one asset class. So for example, if you go to the real estate YouTube channel, they say, hey, you know, you got to buy real estate. You got to make Airbnb. That's going to make all your money. And you go to another channel, they're like, hey, you got to buy crypto. You got to get this crypto and that doggy coin and this bunny coin and this gold coin and this yellow coin or whatever. I said gold and yellow, same thing. But like they only talk about one asset class. So you go to another, you know, channel, they'll be like, hey, you only got to get stocks, etc. And the thing that I preach with you, not only do you want to have, you know, more than one bank account or brokerage, it's not crazy to have more than one asset class. Have some bonds, have some CDs, have some savings accounts, have some 401ks, have some, you know, I'm not going to say crypto. No, I'm not into it, guys. I'm just not. But you know, have different things. And the thing is, like, for many people, you get kind of tunnel vision of like, oh, I you know, I have, you know, diversification. I have, you know, X crypto and Y crypto. But no, that's not diversification. Diversification is like, hey, I have, you know, this cash in this bank. I have this stock over here. I have, you know, this real estate that I'm paying off. I have this, you know, I'm running out of asset classes. I have this bond over here, right? Or you know, I'm paying down debt. These kind of things. I share this with you because I want you guys to always be thinking in a holistic approach to your life, to your finances, and also to understand kind of what's going on in the world and why you want to protect yourself with these things. You know, any number of reasons, like for example, if you can't get your money for like 4 days because the bank screwed up or whatever, and you got a bill due, not cool, right? You guys know this. You may have to pay late charges, or your landlord starts calling on your, knocking on your door going, where's my money, etc. You know, and just don't put yourself in that position. And so again, put your money in multiple places, have multiple asset classes, and always be prepared, not scared. So anyway, hopefully this is interesting and entertaining for you. Please share your thoughts on any one of these stories. I think it's a crazy world we live in, but we have a great community to share these things, and always appreciate coming back for more. So I'll catch you all in the next video.